Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome back to After the Buzzer. I am your host, Couper Moorhead, and it has been a minute, so it's great to be back here chatting with you all. And today we're going to be talking about Kasparas Jakučionis, the Heat's number 20 pick in the 2025 NBA draft, out of Lithuania, out of FC Barcelona's basketball program, out of Illinois. Now he's with the Heat. Very exciting prospect, really great kid that I just met today at the Kaseya Center along with half, the Heat staff. This is his first time in the building. We have an exclusive one-on-one interview with him that will be at the end of this video, so we'll kick it to it in a little bit. But before then, I want to give you a little analysis of what I thought of the pick, of what I think of the player, and how it relates to the playoffs this year in two ways. First, the playoffs in general, and what the league trends and how it relates to Kasparas, and then also what the playoffs told us about the Heat and how Kasparas can kind of fill in as a piece of the puzzle to what maybe was missing during that series against Cleveland. So first, the playoffs. Look, Oklahoma City had a great season, dominant season, won a ton of games, won the championship. Hats off to them, all the credit in the world, especially for a team that young, is really impressive. But I think the team a lot of people are going to remember from this postseason is the Indiana Pacers. Those guys had some magic going on, comebacks, clutch shots, really impressive. They have played so hard. They elevated their defense to another level as well. Really fun group. A little reminiscent of the Heat's 2023 run, but the Pacers made it all the way to Game 7 of the NBA Finals. And what do we know? What do we remember, right, about the way they played? They shared the ball. It was a democratic style of offense. Everything stemmed from Halliburton, but they only had one guy score 20 a game, and Pascal Siakam. Nobody really had outsized usage rates or anything like that. There was just a team that shared the ball, that played the way like their best player played, whether he had the ball in his hands or not, which is really telling when a guy is so willing to be a great playmaker for others that even when he passes the ball, the rest of the team starts playing just like that because his style is so commanding, influential, fun. It's fun, to play with a guy like that moves the ball. Now, look, I am not going to compare Kasparas Jakučionis to Tyrese Halliburton. That would not be fair. That puts lofty expectations on a guy who's 19 years old. He won't be 20 until next May, I believe. So I'm not saying he's going to be Halliburton, but the style of playmaking that he has, the reads he can make, that he can have that sort of Halliburton-esque effect, just like a Steve Nash before him or any of the great playmaking guards, the way they get a team to play on offense. And we know Miami's offense has been bottom 10 for the past 3 years. So a little juice as far as playmaking and passing could be really helpful. And the other part of what Halliburton does is that he's got all the step-back threes. He can isolate a guy off the dribble. You can take a big man back, step-back three. Off, dribble jumpers everywhere in the mid-range. He's got the floaters. Jakučionis has, at least the starter package for that style of shot. In college, he started off really, really hot from three. Had an injury, his percentages fell off. He ended up at 32% from three, which you'll want that number to come up. But the point is, he shot threes at a really high volume, and he was able to get threes off in a variety of different ways. So as he gets more comfortable with the pro game, and with his shot, and maybe there's a tweak here or there. I don't know. I haven't really analyzed his jumper yet or anything, but he has the ways, the tools and the means to get to the shots that are the most important shots in basketball. Pull-up threes. Those are the ones that bend the defense, that can alter the entire geography of the floor. So Kasparas has the playmaking, the passing. He's got some style to him. I was watching him I watched all of his assists. He's got the no looks. He had one where he did a full 360 in the air and still got the ball underneath to a cutter. Some beautiful stuff. Really fun. I think there'll be some highlight plays this season that you'll see, passes that a lot of guys just can't make, won't make, don't make. He's got all that. So what the lessons we learned from Indiana, there's a little bit of stuff to apply that to Kasparas. Now, the Cavaliers series obviously wasn't a great time for anybody, but there are some lessons to be learned from that. And there's two things Cleveland did. One, They pressured Tyler a ton, right? They were trying to get the ball out of his hands, putting a lot of attention towards him, a lot of bodies, picking him up, full court, just trying to apply as much pressure as possible because the Heat were relying on him to, create offense, to run offense, to play make. And what Kasparas can do, and I'm not saying he's ready to be a 30-minute-a-game playoff guard because he's 19. There's got to be a developmental process. But he's the kind of playmaking guard with the scoring potential who could then take off some of that playmaking, ball handling, bringing the ball up, just getting the offense going. When he can take some of those duties, it could make things so much easier for someone like Tyler who can thrive off the ball. It can make things so much easier for a guy like Bam Adebayo who, Bam has really had to straddle that line for the past season or two as far as finding his own offense and playmaking for others because the team has needed him to play make for others to help create threes with handoffs and screens on the perimeter. And when he's on the perimeter, it's harder for him to get touches in spots where feels like he can be most effective. So again, Kasparas, as a playmaker, if a team like Cleveland is trying to load up on Tyler or Bam, all of a sudden you're relieving some of that pressure because of the threat of what you can do with the ball. So, the theory of what he could be, Kasparas, is ideal offensively for a Bam or a Tyler, for anybody else on the team. It just passing can be such a cheat code when it's there in the right form and fashion for an NBA team. Passing brings everybody joy, and from joy comes identity, and from identity comes winning. And the other thing that, again on passing, the other thing Cleveland did, and we talked about this at the time, they flooded the lane. They overloaded the strong side of the floor. So, if the ball was here, they would push guys across the lane so there would be multiple defenders on the strong side. The weak side would be clear, but those are really tough passes to make. And during that series, when Miami tried to take advantage with passes over the top or to hit the weak side corner or to skip pass, they racked up some turnovers. And then that got Cleveland out and running, and, we know how it went from there. So, again, you've got a guy who can make reads over the top. Jakučionis, 6'5", so he can see. He's a big guard. He's got the height to take advantage of his vision, and he's got zip on his passes. So if a team like Cleveland is overloading the strong side of the floor, you've got a guy who can read that weak side defender pulling over, hit the pass over the top. All of a sudden the defense is like scrambling, looking all over for the ball, and you've got a guy hitting an open corner three on the other side. So, that playmaking, again, I know we're talking so much about passing, but it's so important. And remember, along the same lines, I'm saying that passing can tilt a defense, can break a defense what they want to do, can break a scheme, just like, Jokic or Luka Doncic has been able to do to Miami's scheme in the past because of the way they can read how Miami wants to, pressure the ball and play the driving lanes and everything like that. So, I love passing, and, Kasparas can pass, man. He can really pass, and the amount he can add to Miami's offense is significant. Now, he's also 19 years old. Point guard is the hardest position to learn in the NBA. It takes almost every point guard time to adjust to the league, adjust to the size of the players, adjust to the pace of the game, adjust to the really, really advanced defensive coverages that you just don't see in college basketball. So it's going to take him some time. And, there's a percent chance where he comes out and he's awesome out of the gate. That's really, 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 really rare for a point guard, especially as young as he is. And, one of the things that he'll need to improve on is he had a really high turnover total in college, which is fine. And I went back and just like I watched all the assists, watched all the turnovers, because you got to watch the good stuff and the stuff that needs improvement. And the turnovers were a mixed bag. Some of it was just, he's trying things, he's experimenting, he's trying to throw passes that are tough, trying to thread the needle. Sometimes those don't always go in. They're lower percentage, high risk, high reward type plays. There are plays where he and his teammates just had miscommunications. He tried to hit a guy on a cut, the guy didn't cut, or he tried to hit a guy on a pop, and the guy cut instead of popped. So some of that can just be coaching, coaching a team to play with a guy who can make passes that you don't always expect. And then, the college game can just be really cramped with spacing. There's shorter three-point line. There's always more bodies in the paint. There's less shooting, gravity around the floor. NBA space, and we talked about this in the interview that we'll get to with Cass. NBA space, NBA flow, NBA pace, that could all help with the turnovers and, unlock another level of how he's reading the floor and what passes he can make. And then he can also just get the heat out in transition as well, which, they tend to be a slower pace offensive team, so a little bit more juice there. Hey, there's a lot of good stuff. So I won't keep you for too long. I'm excited about the pick. You've got to give him a little grace. There's going to be an adjustment period. There's going to be a learning process, just like there was last year for Khalil Ware, learning to play defense at the center position. Same adjustment process, learning to play offense and point guard. There's just a lot to learn. So give him some grace, give him some time, and, let's see what he can do, because the theory of what he can do, the idea of what he can be is really an entirely brand new offensive identity for Miami. It is the word I've been using. It has the potential, his skill set, to be transformational for Miami's offense. Just give it some time, and we'll track it along the way. So let's go to my interview with him, his first day at the Kaseya Center. Here's Kasparas Jakučionis for After the Buzzer. It's your first day with the Heat. Welcome to the Heat. Welcome to Miami. So I got some basketball questions for you for After the Buzzer. But first, I want to talk about something very important, which is that you are the next in a long line of NBA players from Lithuania. So what does it mean to you to be a part of that lineage?
Yeah, thank you so much. And it means a lot. Lithuania is not a big country. It's like 2.5 million people only in the whole country, but everybody lives basketball. It's our second religion, like I said before, and everybody has or their own basket in the backyard, or they go to play somewhere where they find the court playing 3-on-3 street basketball and just lives basketball. So it means a lot.
So the first thing anybody's going to see when they watch your film is you've got the passing, the playmaking, you've got this, you've got that, you've got a little spice to your game. Who inspires you? What player inspires you in terms of not just the way you read the floor, but the style in which you do it?
Yeah, so there's some players. I try to be myself, first of all, try to invent things by myself. But, yeah, the passing, also Šarūnas Jasikevičius from Lithuania, he was doing that a lot, but he was a little bit too early for me to watch him,
sure,
like
20 years
live.
Ago, right?
Yeah. But when I was little, I used to watch Luka a lot when he was in Madrid.
Yeah.
He moved to Spain from Slovenia when he was 14.
Mm-hmm.
I moved from Lithuania to Spain when I was like 14, 15 too.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I watched him a lot when I was younger.
Yeah. So one thing about the college game is that, it can be a little cramped. Space, short of three-point line and everything. What about the pro game with more space, with more flow? What about the pro game can be unlocked, in your game too?
Yeah, I think spacing is very important in basketball, and more space, the better for me. I think I just like to, share the ball, try to make the right decisions, make plays for the team, and be a great teammate. So I think more space will be more passing too. Assistant
GM Adam Simon the other day mentioned that, you kind of admitted to them your main focus is basketball. There's not a lot other than basketball. Your college coaches said they always knew where they could find you. You were in the gym. What drives this kind of singular focus on the game of basketball?
I just love the game. I love the process, and without like hard work, you cannot reach anything. So, like I said before in one interview, it's like I try to follow this phrase like if you give 100%, if you like do everything right, it doesn't mean 100% you will succeed, but if you don't do it, it means you won't succeed. So I'm trying to take that little more chances for the success.
I love that. And last thing is, this no rookie is a finished product, and today is really the first day of the Heat development program for you. What about your game, especially with Summer League starting as soon as next week, what about your game are you looking forward to starting developing now?
Yeah, so for sure all the, I have to improve in all areas, adapt to the game, but just putting the work in the weight room, building my body, building my strength, building my foot speed, for the defensive end, and just daily work. I think daily habits, just for improvement.
Sounds good. Appreciate it. Kasparas Jakučionis, everybody. Thank you very much. Welcome.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. All right. I hope you enjoyed that interview. This will be it for After the Buzzer, but that interview is a sign of maybe some things to come, some things we're going to be trying down the road. So stay tuned. We'll always be here on YouTube. And until then, Summer League's coming up. We might have some stuff cooking for Summer League. We'll see you then. Take care.